Hello, my name is Ramirez Biddle, and this is a presentation of a paper that I've written, or an essay, a short one-page essay that I've written for technology and education. It's a class at the University of Arkansas at Monticello, and my topic that I wrote about was over GPS and GIS in social studies. And as you can see, that GPS stands for Global Positioning Systems, not satellites. And GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems. And they're both very important in our daily lives, within several professions. In our daily lives, we use GPS to track the shortest route to a destination. We also use GPS for emergency services. So when we call 911 on our cell phones, emergency services can track where our cell phone is located, where they can get services to us quickly. GIS is often used for various different projects. A lot of times it's used in transportation when we're planning routes. And it's also used for creating routes where if someone's walking or running a trail and they're wanting to find the most difficult or challenging route to work their bodies a little bit harder, you could use GIS to find and track to create a trail. GPS can be used for several different things in education. A couple of those things is explore lands that students may not be able to get to see, or probably won't get to see in their lifetime, and to look at important and interesting sites, whether they're historical sites or buildings. They're really cool to look at using Google Earth. So, scroll down. GPS can be used to explore terrain, cities, important sites, or historical sites. So, you can use this as a tool. You use GPS using Google Earth as a tool to look at battlefields or past battlefields, and to see how does terrain affect how did terrain affect the outcome of battles, especially important battles like Gettysburg, where the Union Army was on top of a hill and they utilized that as an advantage to defeat the Confederate Army in the Battle of Gettysburg. You can use Google Earth to explore various mountain terrains or desert terrains or low points in the earth, or you can look at where you can find underwater rifts in the ocean. So you have the Mid-Atlantic Gap that is hidden up under the ocean. You can see where tectonic plates are located using GPS in Google Earth. I've had a student that used Google Earth Street View to chart a path from one town all the way up to Little Rock, and he explored some things and seen some things that he never saw before, and that he never knew ever existed in Arkansas. GIS can be used as an interactive tool, and GIS is a very interactive tool because you can look at various pieces of data or points of data within several different data sets, and you can use those data sets to show a relationship between variables that you're studying, and you can use these on various levels. So, for example, you can use it on a level of the environmental or the real world view. Then you can chop that down into looking at it from how the customer or how people react to their environments. You can use that to how environments have shaped transportation grids or transportation networks, and how people utilize those transportation networks. So there's a lot of things that you can use. You can find out where certain health problems are located and why they're located. Why are they located there? Find out where people live based on incomes, and why do they live there based on incomes? How does certain policies affect certain people in a given area? How do people vote? Why do people vote? What's going on that influences how people think and react politically? So you can use GIS for a lot of different things, and it's very interactive, and we all love interactive things. There's no reason why kids wouldn't either. So they would love to interact with these tools and data sets and create some very, very impressive pieces of work. So both GIS and GPS can be very much utilized in the classroom. I will utilize them in the classroom. I haven't utilized them a lot in the classroom, but I will increasingly utilize these tools in the next few years. I've used a form of GIS where I was creating legislative districts, and I believe that students can use these because I like to use model legislature in my classes, and students can cut out legislative districts and say, okay, well, I have to have a certain amount of people in my legislative district, and I like to know a little bit about the people that I want to represent. How do they vote politically? How does this community vote versus another community, and why? What's the demographics like? What's the racial breakdown like? What's the income breakdown like? This is a way that your district becomes more than just a district. It's a living, breathing thing. And when students work on these, it can be very powerful things for them to get to know and learn their district. So I highly recommend that GPS and GIS tools be used in classrooms. I think they're a very interactive tool. Students will know more about the GPS and have more of a connection probably with GPS because they use Google Maps, especially on their phones. Weather, they use GPS for their weather reports. They're going to use Google. They're probably very familiar with Google Earth, see where things are. But they're probably not very knowledgeable in GIS, where you're designing and creating and manipulating data sets. So there might be a little bit of a learning curve that you're going to have to work with students on that. Well, thank you for watching my video. If you want to look at some places where I studied for my information, this is my bibliography. It's one page, so I have quite a few, maybe somewhere close to about 10. It was a very fun read, very fun thing to put together, especially when I made my PowerPoint. It was a very fun project, and like I said, I look forward to using GPS and GIS in my classrooms even more so in the future. Thank you for your time, and you all have a good night.